The new danger zone for an even stronger Hurricane George. New Orleans is bracing for a direct hit. Voluntary evacuations have already started in nearby communities.
It reaches the Louisiana-Mississippi coastline. This storm will have 115-mile-an-hour winds or greater.
As Gulf Coast residents prepare for the worst, people in the Florida Keys came home to see what George had done to them.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News, reported by Brian Williams. Substituting tonight is Sarah Jane.
Good evening. Hurricane George takes aim at the Gulf Coast tonight after walloping the Florida Keys. Earlier, the storm killed almost 300 people on its march through the Caribbean. Now it's predicted to gain strength in the coming hours, threatening thousands of coastal residents. We have 3 reports tonight. Carrie Sanders from Key West, where the cleanup is underway. Jim Cummins is along the Mississippi coast. And Kenley Jones tonight from the city that has forecasters most alarmed, New Orleans. First, Kenley Jones. Kenley?
Sarah, just 2 weeks ago, New Orleans experienced major flooding when just a tropical storm blew through town. Now, with Hurricane George bearing down, the city is faced with a much more serious threat. Evacuation plans are already being implemented in 9 Louisiana parishes that lie in the path of George. Residents of low-lying areas boarded up their property before heading for higher ground at the urging of parish officials.
We have to express to our citizens a grave concern and to make sure that they make appropriate plans to deal with this pending event.
No mandatory evacuation has been ordered for the city of New Orleans, but all day heavy traffic has clogged Interstate 10 heading out of town. It is the only major artery leading away from the city over Lake Pontchartrain. New Orleans Mayor Mark Morial urged a voluntary evacuation. What the mayor and other officials are worried about is the fact that New Orleans lies 6 feet below sea level. It depends on a series of pumps to get rid of excess rainwater. But a direct hit by George, with a predicted storm surge of between 8 and 15 feet, coupled with perhaps as much as 20 inches of rain, would overwhelm the pumps and engulf the city.
The Hurricane Center projects that we could have a Category 3 hurricane. When it reaches the Louisiana-Mississippi coastline tomorrow about noon, this storm could have 115-mile-an-hour winds, and it's moving very slow.
What would be immensely helpful would be for George to move over the city rapidly. If it moves slowly, or worse yet lingers, that means more water and more trouble. Sarah?
Not good news. NBC's Kenley Jones in New Orleans, thank you. Now to NBC's Jim Cummins on the anxiety in other cities along the Gulf Coast. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, Sarah. Thousands of people along the Gulf Coast here 100 miles from New Orleans have boarded up their houses, packed their bags, and are heading north. If the predictions are accurate and the eye of the hurricane does pass over New Orleans, then the east side of the storm, the most dangerous part of George, could slam into the Gulf Coast of Mississippi and Alabama. In Mobile, there is a run on emergency generators and plywood.
I have no idea where it's going to go right now, but it's better to be safe than sorry, just make sure we're prepared.
Prepared to board up their homes and businesses and head inland. That's what Lloyd Fulton was doing today to his cottage on Dauphin Island, a barrier island near Mobile. Fulton remembers what Hurricane Frederick did to this place back in 1979, and he does not plan to ride this one out on the island.
If it gets up to Category 3, if we get the high winds here, it's going to be bad. Main thing, if you're here, you're not going to get off. At least you and your vehicles are not going to get off.
Brent Kate remembers Frederick too. That's why he's pulling his boat out of the water.
There's a good chance a lot of those boats be up on their side or washed out into the bay out here, and we just didn't want to take that chance. So.
All day, people were fleeing the island with or without their boats. Artie Till was taking his freezer and a summer's worth of frozen fish because he doesn't have an emergency generator.
And if the water gets high, we don't want our freezer to get messed up. We don't want to lose all what we worked hard this summer to catch.
And the authorities are warning people here along the Gulf Coast from New Orleans to Alabama to leave, describing the situation as very dangerous. Sarah?
NBC's Jim Cummins in Mississippi, thank you. NBC's Carrie Sanders was in Key West yesterday when George blew through. He is still there tonight. Carrie?
Well, good evening. The good news, Hurricane George did not kill anyone in Florida. Tonight, state officials say it is still too early to put a dollar figure on how much damage George did to this part of the state. Hurricane George hammered the lower Florida Keys for more than 12 hours. Waterfront homes destroyed, boats battered. This one carried on the storm's tidal surge and left behind.
You got a curfew till 7 in the morning.
In Key West, a curfew remains in effect, but the locals are curious and aren't paying much attention. Barbara Bowers had never been through a hurricane.
It's chaotic and it's a mess, but it wasn't as destructive to bodies and property as I thought it might have been.
Generators are providing the only electricity in Key West tonight.
I guess we're not going to have power for about a week.
Danny Ramey cooked up what fresh food she had before it spoiled. Utility company officials say it'll be days before they restore power. Houseboat Row in Key West is now houseboat rubble.
Did you stay on the boat during the hurricane?
Nope, I'm not that dumb.
Kevin Boswell called this home.
I've been living here for 18 years, and now it's gone.
For those who left and now want to go home, a roadblock and frustration.
We've been refugees since Tuesday. We're ready to get home and sort through our stuff. What's left after whoever is down there has picked through it. We're ready to pick up the pieces.
There are some reports of minor looting, but police say they do have the situation under control. Meantime, those roadblocks, according to officials here, will be lifted sometime tomorrow afternoon. Sarah?
All right, Carrie. Carrie Sanders in Key West. And some of the day's other news in just a moment.
Charlie, you know how we're always trying to find something to watch?
Yeah.
Well, now we can get Prime Star satellite TV installed for just $49.
Ooh.
Hey, guys!
Oh, no.
Or we can get it installed on 2 TVs for just $99.
Who asked you? $49 installed, Chuck.
Sports here, movies there.
Let's get it. Okay. He's gonna get it.
All right.
Prime Star, $49 on 1 TV, $99 on 2. Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR or visit your local Radio Shack.
I was born hungry, but I was born Italian. So that never happened again. Tonight, we had the perfect meal for us. The Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl. You pick any of their special pastas, and you get all the free refills you want. Ooh, spaghetti with meat sauce, fettuccine Alfredo, you name it. The bowls keep coming until you say, ooh, when. And the same for salad and breadsticks, all for $6.95.
I'm gonna eat it all.
That's because of now. Nobody's ever heard this guy say when.
I love this place.
The Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
No more excuses. Zyban is here. Prescription medicine, only available from your doctor. Ask your doctor about Zyban or call 1-888-650-PILL to find out more. Zyban. Now you have another choice.
With all we have to do today, does it make sense to keep color on your hair for 30 minutes when you can get rid of the gray in 5? Just 5. Great color, body, and shine in 5 gentle minutes. Just 5. Smart hair color. Works for me.
Hi, Pumpkin. It's late. You should be asleep.
Mommy said that I could stay up until you got home.
Oh.
What you eating?
Cheerios.
For dinner?
They taste just as good at night. And remember I told you they were good for my cholesterol?
Oh, yeah.
An important new study shows that 3 cups of Cheerios whole grain oats a day added to a low-fat diet can help push your cholesterol down.
You know what else is good for my heart? A hug from you.
The one and only Cheerios.
A thought for those of you married to your job. Every once in a while, have a fling with your wife. Royal Caribbean, like no vacation on earth.
It's destined to die in a political crossfire, but the House of Representatives approved an $80 billion tax cut today, funded with part of the projected federal budget surplus. NBC's Joe Johns is on Capitol Hill.
After calling members of the House in for a rare Saturday session, Speaker Newt Gingrich lashed out at the president.
The record ought to be clear. This Congress is working to pass the legislation that is good for the American people, even as the president crisscrosses the country, failing to do his job as president, but being campaigner-in-chief.
The bill the House passed today would provide an $80 billion tax cut over 5 years. It would give married couples a $243 a year break on joint returns, raise the earnings limit for elderly people who receive Social Security, and make health insurance premiums for small businesses 100% deductible. Today's House approval came despite a veto threat by the president. Congressional Democrats accused Republicans of election year maneuvering.
Don't give in to cynicism today and irresponsibility and instant gratification and election year politics.
Meanwhile, members of the House Judiciary Committee continued their review of still confidential documents from the Starr report. Polls show that despite the disclosures so far, most voters oppose impeachment. Republicans say the public doesn't have all the facts.
Ultimately, the American people will make their judgment about the president based on the truth.
Late next week, the Judiciary Committee is expected to hear recommendations from top aides on whether it should pursue a formal inquiry of impeachment against the president. Joe Johns, NBC News, the Capitol.
Also in Washington today, a rally to demand more money to fight cancer. NBC's Bob Fall reports.
They came from throughout the nation, not just to honor cancer victims, but to bury the disease, which kills 1,500 people every day.
No more cancer!
From famous performers like Aretha Franklin to the Juniors from Wheaton, West Virginia, it was partly celebration for survivors, partly education. Doug Ullman, who survived a deadly skin cancer, urged young soccer players to cover up.
Kids spend, Saturdays and Sundays out in the sun all day, and it's important that we make sure they know how to protect themselves.
And it was very emotional, especially the display of quilts from 20 states, each with 50 tributes to children with cancer.
It's a way to show how vast this disease is.
Looking on Teddy Valinovich, who's winning his battle with cancer, and the Wilson Whites, whose son Zach lost his struggle.
He was our only son.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
We'll never forget him.
And seeing this now is a way of keeping him alive.
Yes.
28 years after President Nixon declared war on cancer, these people want the war effort intensified. They want faster cures, better care, and better access to treatment.
And more money without it. Dana Olson's mother died from cancer.
She died because she had no health insurance. She knew for months she was sick, and she did not go to the doctor on purpose because my family was very poor.
So today, Olson wrote a tribute to her mother and put it on a wall of courage with hundreds of other messages. It was one more way to remember and to rededicate. All evidence, said one speaker, of a war that hasn't been won yet. Bob Fall, NBC News, Washington.
When NBC Nightly News continues, a dispute over tactics in the war on drugs.
That the party of the first part did not intend for the party of the second.
I should have used Preparation H.
If you had, you wouldn't be suffering now. Preparation H helps stop itch and further irritation with a soothing layer of protection.
I should have used Preparation H.
Stops itch, stops irritation.
I'm 64. Is there anything I can do to stop bone loss?
Absolutely. Here's proof. In a landmark clinical study, Caltrate actually stopped bone loss in women at risk for osteoporosis, whatever your age.
It's never too late for Caltrate.
There's something new in St. John's Bay. Dark denim. It's the latest look in jeans, and St. John's Bay has it in styles from classic to carpenter.
JCPenney, I love your style.
Only at JCPenney.
Folklore has it, the spices they cook with in the West Indies are aphrodisiacs. As if in a place like this, you need any help. Royal Caribbean, like no vacation on earth.
Another hair clog. Well, I think the red
Drano Max, toughest on hairy clogs.
Has frequent heartburn been a persistent problem for you? Have you treated it but still suffer on 2 or more days a week? Do you keep getting heartburn even though you've changed your diet? Your heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease. Ask your doctor about Prilosec. One capsule daily can provide complete 24-hour heartburn relief because it controls acid for 24 hours. 24 hours. Ask your doctor if Prilosec is right for you. Call to learn more. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Want 24-hour heartburn relief with one daily dose? Ask your doctor about the most prescribed acid control medicine in America, Prilosec.
In focus this evening, the debate over the merits of methadone. Here's NBC's Pat Dawson.
Each morning, Hansi Oppenheimer's day begins at this New York clinic with a small sip of freedom.
I'm doing so well, you know. I mean, I have an apartment, I pay my rent, I have a daughter, I have a great relationship with her. I mean, if it wasn't for the methadone, I'd probably be dead now.
Like thousands of heroin addicts, Oppenheimer has achieved a relatively ordered life with a daily dose of methadone, the synthetic drug that blocks heroin cravings. It's widely described as the most effective drug treatment ever devised.
I'd say they're misinformed.
But if New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani has his way, the 2,000 methadone users treated in the city's public hospitals, and perhaps many more, will be taken off the drug, pushed toward abstinence.
We shouldn't be giving people money to remain addicted and dependent for the rest of their lives.
Giuliani sees this as a moral choice that will liberate people he says are enslaved by methadone. But this policy of tough love is at odds with what the vast majority of drug treatment experts believe, and 3 decades of scientific and medical evidence.
It's about as sensible as saying that somebody that has a severe mental problem is being enslaved by the medications that he's being given by a physician.
There isn't anybody in this country that believes America is doing a good job in fighting the problem of drug addiction. If anything, we've sustained it and continued it. And maybe it's because the experts don't have the answers.
According to federal statistics, there are more than 800,000 heroin addicts in the United States. 115,000 are treated with methadone.
The science of it is pretty conclusive. This is a valuable tool for the patient, their families, and the community.
People like 81-year-old musician Jimmy Maxwell.
Opening night in Moscow is like opening night on Broadway.
The dark side of his addiction began in 1962 when Russian doctors prescribed an opium derivative for a medical problem while Maxwell was touring with the Benny Goodman Band.
Jimmy Maxwell.
Soon he tried heroin. The addiction almost led a husband and father to suicide until doctors began methadone.
I take the methadone, but I don't have to wait until I feel terrible. I just automatically take it every morning, and I don't ever have it ups or downs.
In fact, methadone offers the users no high or sense of euphoria like heroin.
So even though the person stops or is in a state of abstinence, the brain chemistry hasn't changed. It's still showing a dependence. And the reason methadone works so well is because it normalizes the brain function.
And a government study says 85% of users who try abstinence revert to illegal drug use.
Methadone really works.
Despite the public furor, Mayor Giuliani insists that treatment that leads to abstinence, like this residential group, is the best solution.
6 months I'm here. Tomorrow I have 4 months drug-free.
But programs that practice abstinence are a costly, long-term investment in counseling, psychotherapy, and job placement. It's a gamble the evidence says is bucking the odds. Pat Dawson, NBC News, New York.
That's our abbreviated edition of NBC Nightly News for this Saturday. Len Cannon will be here tomorrow. I'm Sarah James. Thanks for watching, and good night.
NBC News, America's news leader.